fighting against something is never the antidote. Channeling our own anger, our own outrage, our own disbelief at the very thing that's causing these emotions within us. And all that does is perpetuate these circumstances over and over and over again. I have no political opinion, but I have a very strong inclination towards developing inner peace. So for tonight, I want to talk about the importance of developing personal sovereignty. And of course, this is a topic that I'm very passionate about. I'm very passionate about developing our own inner wisdom, our own inner voice, so that we can lean into what feels true for us in our bodies. I talk about this very often in terms of yes, no, how to feel what's right, what's true, and so on. But especially at a time in our world where we're really kind of in a reactive state. If we look at what's happening in the collective right now, there's a lot of upheaval, there's a lot of fear that's happening, and there's a lot of reactive energy. And I'm a firm believer that fighting against something is never the antidote. And although it's important to advocate for our needs, it's very important to do this in nonviolent ways, because when we are advocating for something or fighting against something, what we're really doing is channeling our own anger, our own outrage, our own disbelief at the very thing that's causing these emotions within us. And all that does is perpetuate these circumstances over and over and over again. Okay. This is not a particular time in our history that's more significant than any other particular time in our history when there was war looming or political unrest or a lack of justice or things that are happening that are really triggering humans in our society. Okay. And so this is a pattern as far as human beings are concerned. If you try and look at this from 30,000 feet, really kind of zooming out and saying, okay, what is humanity doing now? We are in a reactive state. And of course, we must take a stand for what it is that we believe in, for what's true for us. And at the same time, it's so important to do that from a place of inner peace, from a place of personal sovereignty, from a place of really checking in with ourselves to see what's true for me. What do I really want to align with, right? Rather than being triggered and lashing out or being reactive and acting out, because all that really does is create more chaos and more unrest. And we are sure to perpetuate this type of history in our humanity. Okay. And so I feel very passionate about developing equanimity, which is the ability to find that place of peace, that place of center, regardless of where your feelings are at. I often say we can be high and we can be low, but we always have access to peace because peace is our baseline. All right. So this is important, especially now when we're being inundated with information and there's, this set of opinions versus this set of opinions and what's right and what's wrong. And you are the only one who has access to your own unique moral compass, what feels good to you, what feels aligned for you. And you get to decide the kind of world that you want to live in. Okay. Now, I have no political opinion, but I have a very strong inclination towards developing inner peace and using our own sovereignty to elevate the consciousness of the collective, right? And so if we start to transmute our own thoughts, if we start to do the inner work to find peace with whatever's happening, to develop equanimity in whatever's going on in our world, then that energy in and of itself already sends a ripple effect out into the universe and helps create an opening, a sense of reconciliation, perhaps even a sense of collaboration amongst, beings that are adversarial. All right. And so, and this is, again, when we fight against something, all we're doing is resisting it. We're pushing up against something that doesn't feel good. And that also doesn't feel good. And so all we're really doing is creating more tension, more friction, and more resistance in the world. Right. So the way to transcend any type of trigger, whether it's a small trigger or a massive one, whether it's an individual one or a collective one, is to learn to deal with the reactive energy on an internal level first. We do this in very basic ways. I talk about the diaphragmatic breath every week, twice a week when we're here live. And in most of my videos, I talk about breathing diaphragmatically, about using the diaphragmatic breath to regulate your nervous system so that you can ground. Notice in your life right now, in your own microcosm, how much fear you might be grappling with, right? Is there uncertainty? Is there reactive energy? Is there, a sense of urgency, like I got to do something, a sense of feeling pressure, right? This is not just happening for us on an individual level, it's happening for us on a collective level. And the collective is always a mirror of what we're holding internally. So if every single human being does the inner work to find peace and to be at peace with whatever is, to take personal responsibility for shifting the things that are uncomfortable in your life, the things that you don't enjoy, the things that you want to see disappear, whether it's a destructive pattern, a limiting belief, a sense of scarcity or loss, or you want to come out of uncomfortable emotions. We each have a responsibility to come out of fear, and when we do that, when we come out of fear and we move into a state of inner peace, into a state of unconditional love with ourselves, and ultimately unconditional love with each other, they kind of go hand in hand. When we embody unconditional love for ourselves, we can create that in our dynamics, in our relationships with other people. It becomes more accessible from that place. Then we can access discernment, and we can make informed choices about who we want to stand with, what we want to stand for, what's right for us, what we want to create. It's up to every single one of us to envision the kind of world we want to live in, starting with our own lives. Right. And so everybody is here tonight for a personal reading, some guidance, a message from the spirit realm, from one of your guides. We want that reassurance. My job is to connect you with the spirit realm so that you have the direct experience that you're not alone. You are surrounded by love and support. You have guides in your life that are trying to help you find peace, that are trying to help you create a life that you deeply love. And it's our responsibility as individuals to learn how to tune into this guidance, to lean into this guidance, whether you're leaning into the guidance that I'm channeling for you and you're using the information that I teach you every week to develop your own channel so that you can hear spirit and you can develop your own inner wisdom and your own intuitive sense, and start to rely on that as far as what's going to direct my choices. When we make choices that are driven by fear, we create more fear. We create more fear for ourselves, and we also create more fear in the world. When we make choices that are directed by love, by truth, by higher consciousness, by the fundamental fact that we're all whole, perfect, and complete, that we're divinely guided and provided for, and that we're surrounded by our spirit team at all times. And then no matter what, even if it doesn't feel like it's going to be okay, it ultimately is going to be okay. If we can lean into that inner wisdom from that place, we can make all kinds of empowered choices. And if every single one of us did that, imagine the kind of world we'd be living in, right? So my message tonight is, and again, this is not a new message, but it's coming at, I think, at a time when we all need to hear it. Is to really take personal responsibility for the quality of your inner life, your inner state, to find that place of peace in your life, whatever the circumstances are, and to take personal responsibility to shift things that are causing havoc, that are triggering you, that are causing reactive energy, that are causing you to spin in fear, and to take appropriate action wherever necessary, nonviolent action wherever necessary. Remember that what we do always comes back to us. The choices we make are always circling back to us. They're always reverberating back, and sometimes they come back to us tenfold, right? So really, it's very important that we are aware and cognizant of what energy we're putting out into the universe, because this energy always meets us right back where we are. So we can either learn the lesson again, or we can say, oh, I learned that lesson already, and now I'm free of it. Okay. And so my wish, my deepest desire, my deepest wish for every single one of you is for all of you to find peace and to feel liberated from the patterns that are causing you pain. And in that peace, that you can advocate for yourselves in a peaceful way, so that we can create this opportunity for all beings everywhere.